See how that looks. It's been worse. Good morning. Why all of a sudden the lighting just gets really funky? Somewhat better. Executed by thugs, the American Taliban, ICE, the KKK, whatever metaphor you want to call them. Welcome to Divided America. I'm George Sisca. Today's January 27th, 2026. I want to start today's show by honoring Alex Pretti, ICU VA nurse. Someone that could have been by your bedside or mine at the worst time. I don't have many heroes, but Alex was a hero. His picture is up for the Facebook audience. The picture is up on the live stream on Facebook. TikTok has revoked my access. It says access not approved. I think there's got something to do with the changeover. TikTok was bought recently, but Restream has revoked my access. So TikTok, I apologize. I will get to TikTok people, that is. And like I said, I don't have many heroes. Alex was protecting a woman. Now, for those that have not watched the video, it's horrific, and I will not show it here. But the ICE agents were being insanely aggressive towards a woman. That Alex was holding his camera, his phone. She fell to the ground. He tried to help her up, and then he was shoved by the ICE agents. He did nothing. All he was doing was trying to help a woman. And then that happens. Now, what you can't see on Facebook is I have a picture of him on the ground. He's in no threat. Absolutely no threat. But then 10 shots. 5 more than Tupac got. 10 shots. Why? Because he had a gun? They're trying to say? We're going to get to the narrative here in a second. But what I will show you is still this still shot. It's just it's not going around as much as it should, but this still shot right here. And once again, the narrative from literally every Republican leadership is straight up fabrication. We talked a lot about this subject here on Divided America. The Trump administration's propensity to lie under oath. Last week, we talked about how Democrats were going to fund ICE. Right? I don't know if you guys don't watch this show every week, but if you do, follow, subscribe on all socials. You will be up to date. But we talked about how Democrats were behind funding the next bill, the next appropriations bill. Nope, not anymore. Now this is something, I mean, they should have fought for Renee Good, but at least, hopefully, Alex's life will not be in vain. And the propensity to lie under oath. Let's go back to that. Kash Patel lied under oath to Congress and is now the FBI director. Kristi Noem, the DHS director, lied to you, the American public. They said that he was a threat, right? Yeah, some threat. Just because you're armed doesn't mean you're a threat. The NRA has backed Alex Pretti, everybody. But what's it going to take? Right? How many bodies? Now, we are seeing some of the rhetoric being toned down, which is good. I do like seeing that. They're bringing that the little tiny man Bovino. I wonder why he's got a Napoleon complex. He's out. Tom Holland's in, right? They went to the bullpen. All right, we're gonna go to Mariano. We're gonna go to Holman. Bovino's not doing it. So where's Bovino gonna go next, right? We're gonna probably see him in, they pulled him from Minneapolis, but he's not done. You're gonna see him somewhere else. But so who's in charge? The president seems to be backtracking, right? But immediately, you had Stephen Miller, Caroline Leavitt, all of them from the top down. Just speak. Lindsey Graham. These people, they just lie, and they lie. They don't just lie to the camera. They lie under oath, and that's where we have a significant problem here in America. At what point can we stop business? I just, not just for a general strike in one city under siege by undertrained armed agents who executed a man after an inadvertent shot. I thought the killing of Renee Good was going to unravel Minneapolis. I posted, I said, please restrain yourselves. But then another one is gone. And now we are dealing with not a blizzard in the Northeast, but 2 feet of snow is significant enough to stop school for 2 days. But business just keeps going. Corporate America will not stop. There are meetings going on right now in the next room that will not stop, while kids are home to their devices, to their parents to be able to entertain them, to teach them. But these workers, the corporate America, they don't have the time to think about what's next for our country, right? Because they're worried about the bottom line. They're worried about the next quarterly review. They're worried about the next stock price. They don't have time to do what we do. And we try to inform them, and then they take what we say and they run it off of other sources. I spent time with many of these sources in New York City this weekend. Some of you follow the socials, saw some of the pictures. I talked to retired police officers in New York City, and it's obvious. It's obvious when you talk to any police officer that the police standard versus the ICE standard when it comes to discharging weapons is significant. Just as much as the double standard between journalists like me and the White House, right? The White House, Caroline Leavitt, female Goebbels with tits. She will go up there and just repeat what Stephen Miller says. Stephen Miller will tweet it, say some bullshit about domestic terrorism. She'll parrot it and then go on their way, right? And then lie. And then now yesterday she said she speaks for the president. And the president is not saying the domestic terror. She's saying that to let the investigation run its course. Well, the investigation is going to show that they shouldn't have shot that man 10 times, right? How much of an investigation do you need when it's right in front of your face? And talking to at least one retired NYPD cop that was there for 9/11. My son asked to go to the 9/11 memorial for his birthday. Weird ask, but this is what he wanted to do. He's 9. He's learning. So we took him. It was incredible. I put some of the video and pictures up on the social Sisca News Network. It is just, it was something to see. The one of the most poignant sights was I was wondering why I saw like a sale sign. Right, I saw a close and sale, but I'm like, why is there a retail store here in the basement, in the bowels of underneath the that much steel? And what that sale was the original racks that had all of the dust from the collapse, and just seeing that and seeing the missing posters, it was devastating. It was devastating, but it's worth going to see. I do agree. And one of the subjects that came up was how, with me and the police officers, was veterans like myself are able to go back to school and have the government pay for them to go back to school. I have class today. More on that later. But the police officers that were there right after the collapse, during the collapse, they don't have their schooling funded like soldiers. And I just find that interesting and wrong. I know I mentioned Jon Stewart, and you should have seen his face light up. Like, he's like, that guy's awesome, right? And this is Jon Stewart, liberal Jon Stewart, right? Like, he got things done for the victims of 9/11, and for the NYPD and the FDNY. He did a lot. I'm not criticizing at all, at all. I just think that schooling would be amazing for them. And with the price of tuition these days, I think it can be baked in. Zoran Mamdani has done a great job baking in universal childcare, and he's working on. I was just there. The city is not run down. The city was as vibrant as ever for a cold day, cold weekend. I can hear my kids in the other room. So with that, we are going to take one super quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about something that I reported I reported it a while ago. And the New York Times reported it just recently. We will be right back. Let's finish this up. And we are back. Now, many commenters love to say, why should I be listened to? It's a recurring theme in my comments. And it's a good question, right? Like, I've given my bona fides, my resume before. I shouldn't have to say it again. But my analysis is typically correct. In yesterday's New York Times headline, they reported that the pot limits that we have been talking about here, the pot limits, 0.4 is now the legal limit starting in November for all THC products. What does this mean? This means that every edible, or virtually every edible that's on the shelves in America, will need to be taken off by November. Because almost every either edible or drinkable concentrate, anything over 0.4 will be illegal. And why? Because this bullshit was introduced into law. It was snuck into law by someone who could barely walk and talk at the same time. Now, for those on Facebook, you can watch the video here on YouTube.
Mr. Leader, any comment on the defense appropriations bill? for it. Go for it. Excuse me, Senator?
His hand?
My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
That's your senator from Kentucky, senior senator. Can barely walk. Barely walk. Barely talk. But he has the power to put a poison pill, put legislation into the big beautiful bill. You guys remember that one? And that what it does, it's going to decimate the pot industry unless the president did declassify it into a different classification, but that doesn't matter because of still the federal laws. I've been preaching at this because they need the president can do an executive order and get rid of this. Our legislators need to get ahead of this because this will destroy $1 billion industry. Billion. And why? Remember I said why? Well, drinking is down. It's down across the board, and in particular, bourbon. Where's bourbon made? Kentucky. That senator, senior senator from Kentucky, who went down. It's painful when you see like the money behind it and why things are done, right? Tariffs aren't helping sales of bourbon, right? You guys know Canada basically said no to all of our whiskey and our bourbon and our liquor. They said they make their own stuff. So there's extra revenue being taken away from us from tariffs. Jim Beam's facility is halting distillation. So they're not even going to be producing bourbon. Why? Because people have switched to pot. Or because people smoked pot before, but now it's virtually legal everywhere in the Northeast. And you can go to the store and get it. And you don't have to worry about, it being bad or Joe Schmo trying to rip you off. So this has to be fixed either again by the president, but more than likely Congress needs to come up with a bill. But this is also the problem with Congress. They love putting everything into one bill, right? One large ominous bill. It's what's going down with the DHS funding right now. They can't pay. They can't continue to fund ICE the way they have been, and now they're fighting over that. And now they need to fight over this. This is going to be highly popular. It's my opinion, maybe because I'm an avid pot smoker, and people text me and ask me about this. They've been asking me about this law, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. And then when the New York Times reports it, that means it's gone through their scrupulous, their meticulous legal analysis. So that means that they had multiple lawyers look at this and say, okay, this is right. So like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a journalist that loves to read, and I have good analysis on that reading. And then I'm trying to bring that information to you. If you want that information, please hit the follow, subscribe, whatever social that you're on. It will allow me to continue to do this. And when I say that is because I have class in a half hour. I've said before, I'm working on my master's in journalism, and I have a class on Tuesday that starts immediately after this show. So if anybody from class ever watches, or if my professor ever watches, hello. And we will be seeing you next week. We are with class going. We're not stopping business. We're still continuing to report. We're still working on getting we're traveling around the country on the cheap, working on Space A. There's so much that we're working on. I've contacted the Haitian Federation, trying to get access to them because I find it super interesting that their fans cannot come here for the World Cup because of the travel ban for Haitians. So how can they cheer for them in Foxborough if they're not allowed to be here? And why would they want to be here if they're going to be gunned down legally by the Department of Homeland Security? So I'm working on that, working on getting with the Scotland World Cup too. The World Cup is coming here, really close to here, Foxborough right down the road. Speaking of Foxborough, congratulations to the New England Patriots. Imagine that. I will repost one of my videos from the summer of me being at Gillette saying that I wanted to cover the team. I've been trying to cover the team now for about 2 years, considering how close I am. But getting access to the NFL is not easy. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Patriots, but it was easy to see that they were going to be good this year. But this good, I had no idea. Class starts soon. Kids are out there. Chewy's right there. Follow, like, subscribe. Thank you very much.